To this now, the ANC wants a government to purchase its own oil refinery and to further look into oil and gas exploration. The party is holding a special National Executive Committee meeting today to finalize discussion documents for the upcoming policy conference. Now, top of the agenda is the economic transformation on subcommittee proposals of opening up South Africa's offshore acreage to international oil companies for the exploration of oil and gas. The ANC believes South Africa is well endowed with oil and gas resources that can be used to alleviate the current crisis of escalating prices of fuel. Government's Central Energy Fund, through ANC instructions, has also started negotiating with the BP and Shell in order to purchase the SAPREF Refinery, which has been on care and maintenance by the two owners. The ANC wants the Central Energy Fund and government to do a cost-benefit analysis, but states that such a deal would be beneficial for the wider South African economy. All right, staying on this story, we are now joined via Zoom by political analyst Rebone Tau to weigh in on the ANC NEC special meeting today. Very good afternoon to you, Rebone.
Good afternoon, and good afternoon to the viewers at home.
Now, of course, the policy conference, as we know, comes before the elective conference. A lot on the plate for the ANC as it goes into the special meeting this afternoon. I want us to talk about some of the pressing issues that are currently facing the ANC and that will be dominating the agenda for the upcoming, policy conference. There's the issue of the step aside. There's the position on SOE, as well as land distribution. Now, in my introduction, I gave some of the other issues that really speak to the economy of this country. But maybe let's start with land distribution issue, particularly when we look at the recent developments in South Africa at the moment.
I mean, we all know there was a process, that Parliament embarked on, I think just before COVID and later last day, trying to amend, the issue on Section 25, but there was no consensus in Parliament. The EFF had a different stand on the matter, and the ANC had a different stand, on the matter, and this is now the technicality of the wording, and if you look at the ANC resolution, does not talk about the nil compensation. This is now the resolution of conference. Now, I think this is going to be one of the things that will be at the center, that the ANC since 1994 has not been able to move, on the issue of the land. And even when the ANC had the two-third majority under the era of President Thabo Mbeki as the president of the republic, the ANC was not able at the time to amend the constitution. So this is going to be highly contested. And looking at also the factional politics, what you have, the radical economic transformation that will always want to be seen as if they are radical on the approach, and not also forgetting that this is the first time that the ANC goes to its policy conference and not have gone to the National General Council. Now they're going to this policy conference and not having had the chance to actually review the policies, because the NGC was supposed to review and check what is it that has not been implemented in government and what needs to be done. So they're just going immediately straight to the policy conference without going to the NGC. So some of the things that would have to come at the NGC, we might see them being raised from the floor at the policy conference.
Now, in its last NEC meeting, the party assigned top 6 leaders to deal with the conviction of ANC Womens League President Bathabile Dlamini. Do you think a report of their meeting is likely to be tabled in this particular meeting? I mean, she's yet to step aside following her sentencing by the Johannesburg Magistrates Court.
From understanding, one of the things that what is highly on the agenda on this meeting is the policy discussion documents that needs to go out as they go to the policy conference, because branches need to engage, on the policy matters. And we know that President Bathabile Dlamini has also said publicly that she's not going to step aside. She's going to fight this thing. So it will be very interesting to see if at this present moment will the focus be only on the policy discussion documents, or they will want to discuss those issues, and which then might derail the processes. And we saw recently on the issue of Mandla Msibi that it seems like the witness forces are now retracting their statement. So it's a lot of things that the ANC is facing currently.
And I mean, I raise that because it's just one of those policies that seems to be raising a lot of controversy within the party itself, with a lot of senior members at province level saying that it is, in its current form, very confusing.
No, I mean, if we look at the elections that have taken place over the past few weeks, whether in Mpumalanga or in KZN, and now also, even if you say Batabile must step aside, and these people have been told to step aside, but they were able to participate in the ANC elective conferences, whether it's regional or provincial. So the ANC right now will have to come up with a discussion document. And you must remember that for the longest time, even when the issue of step aside started, the ANC spoke about they're drafting a step aside document that will go to branches so that the branches can also make a contribution, and that it's a document that binds all members of the ANC. So it's not clear how far are they with this discussion documents. We know that KZN has made it clear that going to the national conference in December, they will want, that the constitution, which is Rule 25.70, to be amended, based on this ruling, because they feel that it's not a fair judgment for members within the party.
And one of the top priorities also probably that sits in the ANC policies is what to do with SOEs. Economists currently saying that the local economy is now helpless in the face of constant rolling blackouts. Will this entity likely also, be discussed, given just also recent events? We saw what happened at Scopa recently with the Eskom board member being asked to walk out. Of course, Eskom is and should be top priority.
Absolutely, Eskom should be top priority. But what I think for me is more disappointing is that the Minister of Public Enterprise, during these difficult times, he's not anywhere to be seen. He should be given confidence, whether even to investors, about this situation. We just see now and then the CEO would, at times of Eskom, have a press briefing. But the question is, where is the minister in this whole thing? But one hopes that within the ANC, the minister should be held accountable and also inform the party of what is happening, because he's not taking South Africans into confidence on what should happen in terms of the situation and how will it be resolved, at what rate this crisis will be resolved. Because indeed, if you look at the unemployment rate in this country, Eskom being a big problem, and we know that also during the State of the Nation address, the president, and during the State of the Budget address, the Minister of Finance indicated that some SOEs will have to be sold. So I think the ANC government at this present moment needs to make up its mind which SOEs they're selling. If Eskom they're selling it, they need to be clear and stop dragging their feet, because this is affecting everyone in terms of productivity.
Which is why, in our previous story, we mentioned that top of the agenda is the possibility of the Economic Transformation Subcommittee proposals, that of opening up South Africa's offshore acreage to international oil companies for the exploration of oil and gas. So those discussions are also happening from an economic front. But let's talk about recent developments in the country now, just to cite a few, the floods in KZN as an example, and also the upcoming commemoration of Freedom Day. So suggesting that trust levels in the country's government are very low at this moment. What should this symbolize for the ANC-led government, particularly as it starts discussing its policies and significantly ahead of its elective conference?
I think one of the things that the ANC needs to look at going to this conference, which I think will help them, is the recruitment process into the ANC. It's an open check. They don't have clear. They don't have a clear document that stipulates when one is recruited. What are the criteria that they look into? When they recruit a member within the party. And the other issue is they've got a document called Through the Eye of a Needle, and that document is outdated. The ANC needs to come up with another document, that will help them in terms of the leadership, the criteria that is required for one to be nominated into leadership position. Because if if you do a study within the ANC membership, and let's say from 1997 conference up to the last conference, you can see the pattern of the membership that has grown within the ANC. But that membership that has grown within the ANC, it is not doing what is correct for the party. The membership seems like it's more about buying of votes because they are controlled, and the ANC itself has also admitted on this notion that they have members within the party, so they need to deal with that. If they don't deal with such of the quality of members that they have within the party, they will not resolve some of their problems that they have within the party.
Political analyst Rebone Tau, thank you so much for your time this afternoon. Really do appreciate it.
Thank you.